Hey guys, the mystery of Oak Island has long been one of history's most enduring and mind-boggling enigmas for 12 seasons. Viewers have followed the Legaina brothers and their devoted team of treasure hunters as they sift through Dirtwood, stone, and myth in search of was packed with small finds, big ambitions, and one major void of certainty. Here's a look at what went down on Oak Island this week and why it might just be more significant than it seems. The episode kicks off with some classic Oak Island detective work at Lot 5, where the team uncovers two seemingly insignificant objects: a bottle bit and a piece of metal strapping. Now, if this were any other dig site, you'd brush off these finds as old trash or remnants of daily life, but this is Oak Island, where every splinter, shard, and strap is viewed through the lens of treasure lore. The strapping in particular sends the team into a frenzy of speculation. Could it be part of a chest once dragged into the infamous money pit? The theory is certainly plausible. Strapping metal was commonly used to secure treasure chests during transport, and while it's a stretch to assume the specific piece of metal belongs to one, it's certainly not outside the realm of possibility. The team is quick to make that connection. And really, who can blame them when you're chasing a 226-year-old legend? Sometimes you have to believe in the power of small clues. Of course, one can't help but wonder if this was part of a treasure chest. Did the coin slip out along the way? Let's hope not. Next, we head over to Smith's Cove, where Billy is doing what he does best, digging. In this time he hits wood, but not just any wood. This wood is believed to be part of Oak Island's infamous flood tunnel system. For those new to the Oak Island saga, the flood tunnels are a network of subterranean passageways designed possibly by 18th century engineers to flood the money pit whenever it's excavated. This water trap has been one of the most persistent obstacles in the Lena's quest for treasure. In finding wood that may be part of these tunnels is no small deal, but that's not all. Mixed in with the wood are the familiar elements of rocks and mud. If you've been watching The Curse of Oak Island long enough, you know that rocks and mud are essentially recurring characters on the show. The team finds them constantly, and while they don't always seem significant this week, they are. Why? Because these rocks, mud, and wood are believed to be structural elements of the flood tunnel itself. And then there's concrete. Yes, concrete. When concrete is discovered on Oak Island, it's enough to make even the most skeptical fans sit up and pay attention. The find sparks intrigue because it's a modern material, meaning it's probably linked to one of the many previous treasure hunting expeditions on the island. But whose work is it? Back in the war room, the team shifts their attention to the concrete discovery. Enter Emma, who takes center stage to explain her analysis. The theory: this concrete is likely a remnant from the 1960s, when the Restal family attempted to plug the flood tunnels. Unfortunately, their efforts were in vain, and many of their attempts to control the water were ultimately fruitless. So what makes this discovery important today? Simple context. Understanding what past treasure hunters did helps the current team avoid the same mistakes. It also means they're not chasing ghosts. If the concrete can be linked to Restal's work, then they can rule it out as part of any older, more treasure-relevant construction on the island. While some might see this revelation as a dead end in the world of treasure hunting, ruling things out is still progress. Just when it seems like the episode is wrapping up, another war room meeting is called. This time a new guest joins the table with a plan that could either be groundbreaking or downright baffling the proposal use. Borrow radar to skin the depths of Oak Island and locate any potential voids if you're unfamiliar with borrow radar. Think of it as sonar technology for underground spaces. It sends waves through the ground, and when those waves hit an empty space or a space filled with something different like treasure, it sends a signal back. The theory is simple: voids could mean underground chambers, and chambers could mean treasure. The radar gets to work, and what do they find? A wood 127 feet below the surface. The announcement sends a ripple of excitement through the team. Could this be it? Is this the legendary offset chamber connected to the money pit, or, as some might argue, is it just more nothing? The excitement is palpable, but reality sets in fast. Without physical evidence of treasure, a void is just that, a void. It could be an underground air pocket, a naturally occurring cavern, or just a gap in the earth. But this is Oak Island, where no void is dismissed without investigation. The fact that the borehole radar even detected a chamber-like space is enough to re-energize the team and tease the potential of a game-changing discovery in episodes to come. What does it all mean? If you're a longtime fan of The Curse of Oak Island, you know the journey is just as important as the destination. Episode 5, A Flood of Secrets, embodies that journey perfectly. It's a slow burn filled with tiny wins, bigger questions, and the occasional void of progress. The finds at Lot 5 hinted at a story of movement, the transport of objects, perhaps even treasure. The evidence at Smith's Cove reinforces the reality of the flood tunnels, a centuries-old booby trap that still haunts the present-day hunt. And the discovery of a void 127 feet deep? Well, that's enough to send fans into a frenzy of speculation. Is this void the long-lost offset chamber? Could it be a storage space for treasure hidden just beyond reach? Or is it just another underground anomaly with no deeper meaning? One thing is for certain, this episode offered a more cohesive storyline compared to some of its predecessors. It had clear direction, a consistent flow, and just the right amount of mystery to keep fans coming back for more. And while they didn't find the treasure chest yet, the discovery of that void is enough to keep the legend alive. As we look ahead, one thing is clear: Oak Island isn't ready to give up its secrets just yet. A flood of secrets delivered on its promise, offering just enough discovery to keep viewers hooked but not enough to give away the end. The Laigina brothers and their team remain as committed as ever, chasing clues, following leads, and never giving up hope. The strapping metal, the concrete, the flood tunnels, and that mysterious void all point to something hidden beneath the surface. Could the treasure really be down there? Only time will tell. But if one thing's for sure, it's that every new episode brings us one step closer to the truth. What keeps millions of viewers returning to The Curse of Oak Island season after season? It's not just the hope of seeing treasure unearthed, it's the slow, methodical unraveling of a centuries-old riddle. Every piece of wood, every metal strap, and every void represents one more clue in a grander story. Episode 5, A Flood of Secrets, taps into this allure perfectly. While the discoveries might seem underwhelming to the uninitiated, a broken metal strap, a few chunks of wood, and a gap in the ground to devoted fans, they symbolize the slow but steady progress being made toward the ultimate goal. Every clue is a fragment of a larger puzzle, one that has eluded searchers since the 1700s. What's so fascinating about this particular episode is how it builds on past discoveries. The reference to the Restall family's 1960s attempts to plug the flood tunnels adds a layer of historical context to the hunt. The Restalls were passionate treasure hunters who poured their blood, sweat, and tears into Oak Island's unforgiving soil. Their presence lingers as a reminder of how difficult this search has always been. For the current team to encounter concrete that may be linked to the Restalls' work is more than just a historical curiosity, it's a cautionary tale. The island has claimed fortunes, reputations, and even lives. Knowing where past explorers went wrong helps the Laigina brothers avoid the same fate. Treasure hunting or archaeology? This episode highlights a growing shift in the show's approach. Early seasons of The Curse of Oak Island focused heavily on the romanticized idea of treasure hunting, wild theories, ancient relics, and dramatic moments of discovery. But as the seasons progress, it becomes clear that what the team is doing is much closer to archaeology. They're not just digging for gold, they're piecing together a historical narrative. Artifacts like metal strapping and flood tunnel wood are not valuable in themselves, but they add weight to the theory that something valuable could be nearby. This archaeological approach requires patience and a deep appreciation for small victories. While the borehole radar's discovery of a 127-foot deep void may not seem like a huge win, it is significant. Why? Because voids don't form randomly at that depth. Whether it's a man-made chamber or a naturally occurring gap, it represents a deviation in the underground structure. And on Oak Island, deviations matter. This is why the team celebrates the discovery even if they haven't physically entered the chamber yet. It's a lead. And in the world of Oak Island, leads are priceless. If there's one thing that sets modern-day treasure hunters apart from their predecessors, it's technology. The introduction of borehole radar in this episode is a testament to how far the search for Oak Island's treasure has come. While earlier generations relied on shovels, pickaxes, and luck, today's team has ground-penetrating radar, 3D scanning, and computer modeling to guide their efforts. The borehole radar's ability to see underground is a game-changer. It allows the team to focus their efforts on specific points of interest rather than aimlessly drilling in hopes of finding something. But technology has its limits. The radar can tell you there's a void 127 feet below, but it can't tell you what's inside. Is it an air pocket, an underground cavern, or an offset treasure chamber? Until the team drills into it or sends down a camera, all they have is speculation. This blend of certainty and uncertainty is one of the show's most effective hooks. Viewers are left to wonder, is this the moment they finally strike gold, or is it another false lead? Technology may offer glimpses into the unknown, but it's still up to human effort and grit to turn those glimpses into discoveries.